So continuing the conversation about weirdos and sus stuff, there was a video, and I'm trying to let me get the actual name so we could for people to have reference. But there was a teacher who had students unbraiding his hair, and people are trying to talk about like boundaries with teachers and teacher-student dynamic, the teachers that are trying to be content creators and like them filming content in their classrooms and posting videos of minors probably without their permission and not the parents' permission online. Like so many people would do that, which I always felt was like very inappropriate.
Sorry to cut you off, but to jump in on that, don't use my kid.
I've seen it so much. Even people like I know personally, I'm like, why are you posting these kids?
Don't post my kid, bro. Like they're in there to learn. They never posted no videos, no VHS tapes, no digital camcorder pics, no videos on the phone. Like they never posted any of that stuff when we were in school. And you're there to teach my kid. Our taxpayer money is going to pay for your salary to teach my kid. Do not post any content under your TikTok profiles using my kid for clout so you can hopefully get enough money so you don't have to teach anymore. We're not doing that. Sorry, continue.
And I think his name is Tillumination, by the way. Tillumination. But yeah, crazy. Like, you shouldn't be trying. Like, first of all, if you're a teacher, like, I get it. No one should pigeonhole themselves. And, like, we're in such a world now where anybody kind of could become famous and influencer. Like, so yeah, you shouldn't necessarily, like, if you're a teacher, that's just it. Your life's over. You can't pursue any other thing that you want to pursue. Like, sure, like, you could pursue content creation, but you could do that without posting your students. You could talk about how you prepare your classroom. You could even show videos of you maybe talking and, like, you maybe hear their voices, but you don't see them. But, like, why are we showing kids' faces who have parents? Like, but like, you probably didn't ask, like I said, their permission. Second, why is my kid in school where they're supposed to be learning and they're unbraiding your hair? Like, unbraiding your hair is not even like, that's nasty. Like, our hair is dirty and disgusting. Like, you got my daughter touching your greasy ass, dirty ass braids. Like, ew. Like, that's so nasty. And like, low key, I feel like the concept of doing hair is such like a kind of like, I want to say it's kind of an intimate exchange.
I would say it is.
But it is because, like, that's why it's always a joke about when hairstylists are women and then women be like, oh, I'm about to learn how to braid my nigga's hair because I'm not gonna have no woman there touching my man's head. Like, it is intimate. Like, you're touching somebody's personal space. Like, you're in their scalp. You're in like like, it's a very like a mother-daughter partner type of thing that you do with people like close to you, like, or your stylist, right? Like, why are you doing that with students?
Yeah, I get it. Like, it's not a sexual act, but it's definitely intimate. Yeah. Like, when I'm getting my hair braided,
it feels
good. Like, you're gonna take my head, pull it back against her, start touching your hair, right? Like, and in this video, it's not like they're necessarily doing that, but it is like physical touch, right? Yeah. My kid, and I want to be very clear while I'm looking into this camera, my kid there should never be any sort of physical contact between my kid and the teacher.
Imagine as a dad too.
Listen
your
to
daughter.
Me. I promise you. I promise you, if I went on TikTok and I just happened to see my daughter touching a grown ass man's head,
you pull up to that school. He's gonna
that's crazy. He's gonna meet my friends Heckler and Koch.
Bruh, that's what a lot of men were saying online. Like, the women, for some reason, a lot of moms are defending it because they probably want the nigga, like, fucking weirdos. But like, a lot of the men are saying like,
listen to me,
let that be my daughter. Like,
I don't want to go full.
Like, look at this is so creepy.
I don't want to go full Joe Budden and start throwing shit around the room. But realistically, like, if I go on a social media platform and find out that you had my daughter touching your hair, or touching you in any way, or you were touching her, or touching her hair in any way.
Yeah, like, what are we doing?
There's not enough amount of jail time that could exist that would prevent me from ever doing something to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to put head, shoulders, knees, and toes all over you.
Yeah, like.
And I will put you into the earth with both of my bare hands.
Because that's crazy.
And I mean that with every bone in my body.
Because for me, it's like, why are you doing that?
Why are you, bro?
Like,
we're there to learn.
And my whole thing is, why are you taking your hair out at work? Like, like, imagine me unbraiding, like, both of us. Imagine us unbraiding our hair in the middle of our office. Like, why? Like, go home and do that. Why are you unbraiding your hair at work?
And I want to wash my hair after it's unbraided. It's just weird.
Like, it's very weird.
And what was his excuses? It was like, oh, it's a cultural experience. And I'm
like they learn that at home. Then they're Black. They'll learn that at home. I'm sure they unbraided hair before. They probably helped their mom, their siblings. Yeah, like,
they were using a comb. They
didn't
were
need
taking
to
it out
learn
the
that
right
from
way.
school. Like, there has to be boundaries too. Like at the end of the day, even if it's not considered inappropriate, there has to be a teacher-student boundary. Like people always want to talk about parent-kid boundaries, right? There's so many people that defend still hitting your kids, but then people want to defend this and be like, oh, that's the type of teachers we should have, community builders. No, like they're there to teach. That's it. Like they're not there to teach hair unbraid. Like if your kid want to learn hair stuff, then they go to cosmetology school. They're there to learn whatever they're learning for. And that's why, no offense, these kids today are dumb. They're not learning. Like I'm worried because these kids are stupid today. They don't know how to read. They don't know how to write. They're illiterate.
And their teachers want to make content because
their teachers want to be famous. Like
they hate their jobs and they don't want to actually really work with kids. They want to be TikTokers.
Yeah, they don't have no real passion for it. Like they're using your kids to make content to try to go viral like weirdos. Like it's crazy.
We're really in a different world.
And the fact that people are defending this are really wild. And then he got fired apparently. So now they're like, oh look, you guys got a black teacher fired. And I don't know if you remember. I think we talked about this before. That black psychologist that got fired, who was going online talking shit about black men. Like nobody got them fired except themselves. These people are not taking their profession seriously. They want to be content creators. That's why, like, even with me with my job, I like try to tread lightly. I'm like, at the end of the day, I gotta relax. You can't say too much about. Well, I do. I don't have to necessarily because I do accounting. Like I'm not a teacher. I'm not a psychologist. So when you have clients and students, there's a lot more boundaries there that you could, you get fired. The only thing I can get fired off of if I say something about the company, like that's top notch, like top secret. You know what I mean? Other than that, I have more free reign than a lot of people in other professions. Like you pick the professions where you have clients, and there's psychologists like that too. Like the one that got fired and other psychologists. Why are you coming online tweeting or going on TikTok talking about your clients? Like that's weird. Like these people trust you with their lives, their livelihood. You picked a career like that for a reason. You can't do both. You can't do both. Then you shouldn't have picked that career. Like you shouldn't have picked that. Like there's gonna be restraints there. So no, we didn't get him fired. We didn't get that psychologist fired. They got themselves fired.
Posting. Like they got fired off of their own post.
And they wouldn't have gotten fired if what they did wasn't deemed inappropriate. Simple. So I hate that. Like I hate that like black people love to try to like use that. Oh, you got a black woman fired, a black man fired, like to try to call some type of like blackness. I mean, like no, that's why black people are, no offense, we're so stupid as a whole because we don't promote change.
Fuck them.
Progress.
Fuck both of them.
Yeah,
no real shit. Like fuck both of them. And not only that, we didn't even get into it.
Yeah, the weird stuff.
That came up with him. But realistically, I swear to God, like black people to our own demise. We never want to hold people accountable for their actions. I don't care if we have have similar skin. I'm gonna treat you the same way I treat anybody. Mm-hmm. We have a different cultural connection and we have a better understanding of each other innately without having to say anything necessarily. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna support you in everything that you do. I hate that whole support. No, nigga, no.
Like I support you just because you're black. Like
no,
what?
I'm not doing that. Yeah. No, I'm gonna support you as a person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the people that are gonna do you the most crazy in life are gonna be the people that look like you.
Yeah, literally.
So I'm not gonna support you just because we have similar skin tone. I'm gonna support your actions and who you are as a person. So I'm not in support of our people doing dumb shit. And if anything, I'm going to advance our people more than you because I'm going to hold you accountable for your actions.
Like people always talk about hold your friends accountable, hold your partner accountable. But when it comes to us as a race, no one ever wants to do that. Like how are we going to grow as a race?
That's why we are.
As a race?
That's why people are the way they are. Yeah, that's why they look at us and what we're doing is amazing. Yeah. Granted, yes. But still, people would look at us as being like, rich or being such a huge success story. We should not be a success story. Yeah, we should just be the norm.
Like,
and people,
all we did was follow a basic plan, a basic blueprint in life.
Making six figures,
literally
in our 20s.
We didn't extenuate ourselves. Like we worked hard, but it's not like we sat here slaving and did some crazy stuff to get here. We literally followed a simple blueprint of life.
Right. This should be normal.
Like it should be normal.
But it's not.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be influencers, and everybody wants to be a Ari, and everybody wants to be NBA young boy. Like. Because they don't have people holding them accountable. They don't have parents they don't have people talking about maybe we should develop a family home and have meaningful relationships so we can have a healthy home environment. Like you say these things, you're classist. Oh, you colorist. Oh, you racist. Like why? Because I want my people to be better as a whole. Like I can't.
Anyway, get into this weird freak ass nigga.
No, he's weird. So what came out more while he was talking about the fact that he got fired, apparently his students were texting him, like upset that he got fired. So they were like, wait, why are your students texting you? Like, why do you have your students' number? I never, okay, I know it's a different world, but I've never had my teacher's number. Like, I don't know if that's just a thing nowadays. Like, do people have, like, is that supposed to be the norm now? Like, having your student's phone number? Like, in my opinion, you should have no personal contact with your student. I get they might have questions. And I get maybe some teachers are trying to, like, adapt to, like, is that a new diss?
No.
Oh. I got scared. I was like, wait.
No.
I get maybe teachers are trying to adapt to this new environment, the new social media, the new like the norm, right? So maybe like before we might have had our teachers' emails or something like that to ask them questions. I get that, right? The number thing is a little, I don't know, it is a little weird because it's so personal. And like I've heard this one teacher that got like found out she was like doing something with the students. They was like texting her, calling her like 9, 10 o'clock at night, like, and she was like, it was so weird. Like she was telling her students, or her students were calling her mommy. Like imagine you find out your son is texting her teacher. Oh my god, oh, it's just so weird. What is wrong with these people? That's so weird, right? It was like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and like she was like calling her, like the teacher was calling her, like, "Oh, my son, my baby," like some weird, like, oh, this is weird. This is a recent story that just came out. Oh my god, it was so weird. I don't know where we at. So I'm just saying, like, yeah. So he had the students' numbers, like. For me, I don't know, because like I said, we're in a different world, so I can't really say if that's abnormal to have your teacher's numbers in 2024. Because like I definitely didn't, and we had cell phones back then, but we were in a different world. We weren't as technology advanced as we are now. It wasn't the norm for everybody to have phones, smartphones. I don't know, but it does add kind of more to the dynamic. Like, okay, like you have these students' numbers, they're texting you, they're comfortable texting you, like they're texting you about personal stuff too, like about you being fired. Like, why are they doing that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's weird. Yeah. I do get it to some extent, but nah, like for me, I don't know how young these kids were, but they're kids. They're like, they're definitely not high school. They look really young. Like I'm not texting nobody in 6th grade, 7th grade as a grown ass man. I'm not even texting high school. I think
it's weird. Like you not feel weird. Like that's the thing. Like I actually, and I might like going back to what I said. Like I know, like I was saying, I don't know what the world is like nowadays, but no, I actually take that back. I feel like I don't care what the world is like nowadays. Like
talk that shit.
You have parents. Let the parents have the teacher's number. If they have questions, you say, hey, like you put the question to the parent. Let your mom or dad text the teacher. You don't need to text them like directly. That's weird.
Yeah, because imagine because parents do this. I don't know if I actually not even that I don't know. I'm more likely than not will not take this approach. But imagine you just happen to be checking your kid's phone.
Yeah, and you see your like teacher. Mr. And it's like 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's weird. Like even if it's a homework question, like why are you texting my daughter, my son at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Like that's not okay.
Why do you even have their number? Like there's so many other questions before we even get to the text.
Literally any type of communication that you need to have with your teacher, if you want it to be like a last minute question, should be through the parent. Let your mom or dad text or call the teacher. You don't need to directly text my daughter or son. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But get into the weird shit.
Yeah. So another level.
Go ahead. Talk about it.
Another layer, because this guy obviously loves TikTok. He wants to be an influencer, right? So he's been online, and actually I've seen this video, crazy enough, but there was this girl, her name was Sasha, on TikTok. And apparently, like, I did some digging. She doesn't really post much anymore because, like, she was kind of like, she doesn't really like the attention, which I always find that interesting because, like, you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Like, you're showing off your butt, you have a nice body. But then you kind of like, oh, people are sexualizing me. Like, but you're like, I don't know. It is kind of, I hate when girls try to do that or women try to do that. Like, it is kind of like annoying. Like, you know what you're doing. But she made a video, and this was like 2021, 2022, where like a lot of people were stitching it, where she was showing herself like in a school bathroom, like in the stall, and she was like showing, like she had like yoga pants on, and like this girl, like she was over 18 now, I would assume, but at the time I think she was like 15, 16. And she has a nice body, right? Like she has curves, I would say. I'm not gonna go into details, but and so she made a video showing her body and was like, I love emo boys or something like that. Like I love emo boys. So a lot of guys were stitching it, which was funny if you were of age, right, to do it. But people were stitching it, showing themselves with like the little emo filter on TikTok, like playing like the music, like trying to be funny. Like
what kind of music? Yeah, that kind of music.
So his video was one of the ones I remember seeing too. Like you probably saw it too. Like it was a viral one.
I would have never.
And I didn't know it was
him.
the same person. Apparently, this is the same teacher. Like it's crazy how stuff be connected so much online. How so many people go viral consistently on these apps that they end up being the same people that you saw before in a different viral video. But people are saying like, let's bring this back now. Like it's almost like the Drake situation. Like when one person has multiple things that shows a pattern, that's when we got to question it. So it's like, yeah, maybe the unbraiding wasn't anything crazy. But this guy also has the students' numbers, and he also was stitching 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, being sexually subjective. Suggestive. I can't say the word. No. Whether it was a joke or not, whether it was a trend or not. Like, you're a teacher, and you were studying to be a teacher at the time. I don't know if you were one, but you definitely had an interest in being a teacher. and that's what you're doing. And it makes a deeper conversation where we talked about this, I don't know if on the podcast or like off camera before, where we said like there is always something kind of interesting where you wonder why some people want to be teachers. And it's like definitely everybody has their intentions. Like some people generally want to teach kids, but I do feel like there's a lot of people who were losers or weirdos, like we just said with like these men, right, in high school, and then they go back to relive it. They want to be they love the attention. Like some of these men I know, they love the attention from the students. Like, oh my god, Mr. Mama, like you know, we all were in high school. And I remember like finding some teachers cute, right? Like that was a thing. I think everybody had that thing. But then there were weirdo teachers who, now that I'm older, realized leaning into that. Like I know plenty of teachers who were leaning into that. Like I've had friends or people I was in class with, Mr. Post, Mr. I'm saying their names too. Mr. Who cares? They're not gonna figure out. Mr. What was this one guy? Troxel. I'm saying their name. I don't care because they were weirdos. And there was definitely teachers that were weird at that school, like at my school. Oh my god, I hate, like they were sitting there.
This is all
gleaming.
alleged.
No, I've seen it with my eyes. They were sitting there smiling, cheesing, playing into it, like flirting back, like especially the gym teachers. It got weird. Like now that I think about it, and like I feel like a lot of those teachers, that's why they do it. They want to go back and relive those days. And now that they're older and maybe look better, you know, like men go there to get that attention from those students. Like they want to be the cute teacher. I'm the attractive teacher, and the women too. The woman, oh my God, the women are probably the bigger ones because you hear so many stories about the women with the.
I'm not putting nobody out there.
No, but for real, like we see it with the like I think someone actually even made a joke about it on TikTok, like, "Hey, the football guys, how was the game last night?" Like, oh my God, you know,
I did see that
the women,
TikTok.
yeah,
that
right?
shit was nuts.
And that's how they be though. Like the women teachers wanted, like they weren't that cute girl in high school, so now they feel like, oh, I'm maybe that cute teacher now, and like now I'm. Oh my God, hi guys, how was the game last night? How was practice? Like, I'm like, it's just so weird. And like that's definitely a deeper conversation about why people become teachers. But I think this guy, you know, he's one of those people you got to look into. Like,
right,
it's something. Everything has a reason for me, and I feel like that's definitely a reason for some of these people. They want to be around that, and they want to get that ego boost of being around younger people who might look up to you or might think that you're the cute teacher. Like they want to be that person, and it's crazy.
And you're not saying this, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but I just want to put it out there. Like, of course, there's the people that really legitimately become teachers to empower students and to really teach and do some good in the community. So we're not saying that it's everybody, but we have seen quite a few instances where people do some real weird stuff. And now I feel like it's even more because the kids look more grown. Like it's just, I feel like it's weird. Just a different world. So in our world, like you were saying with teachers at your school, like, of course we had teachers in our school.
Like you've seen it.
We've seen it.
And now that we're older, we could realize that, like, wait, that was weird. Like, you know, in the moment it was like, oh, the cute teachers, blah, blah, like funny, haha. But now that I'm like 27 years old, I'm like, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, we've seen girls like throw themselves at the teachers, and who knows what happened after the fact.
Yeah, we don't know if stuff
or during
happened.
The fact. Even honestly, even in college.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to speak on, I'm not going to get into that, but it gets a little, you know, people will do some stuff for some grades, but anyway.
And there's definitely that's like a whole nother conversation that we had. There's definitely people whose intention of being teachers are rooted in that, like for sure. Yeah. To be around, like, come on, who, like, if you're a weirdo, who want to, that's easy. That's too easy to be around young people all day, every day.
A lot of the Disney stuff that comes out. That's exactly why. Like, there's
that
a lot
guy that killed his stepdaughter worked at Disney.
There's a lot of,
and there was, remember we had a whole conversation about this too. There's a lot of like pedophiles that were linked to working at Disney. Like, there's a reason. Like, these people aren't, like, some of these people are not normal. That's why they want to be around kids.
And it's unfortunate because, you know, it does take away from the people that legitimately have, like we were saying, some teachers legitimately want to do better for the community and teach kids. And some people legitimately they get that, like there was a viral video of the actress that plays Tiana, I think, in Disney. If I'm not mistaken, if that was the correct princess. And then there was a child that, I don't know if he had Down syndrome or autism or something. And he like ran up to her, like gave her a kiss, like she and the actress started like crying. Like, so there's legitimately people that want to go out and have those
and those interactions and that impact.
But within that,
probably more of them than there are the weirdos,
for sure. And most teachers are, I'm sure, perfectly fine. But there are, at the same time,
there's always bad apples.
And we got to question stuff sometimes.
Yeah, and it's sad because it's like, you know, but that's why, like, when stuff like this happens, we do have to talk about it. Like, under no circumstances should a student be unbraiding your teacher's hair. Under no circumstances, even if it's the most innocent act ever, your kids should not be going to school doing that. Like, that's so inappropriate.
Even a hug is questionable.
Yeah.
But
unless the kid really feels a connection to, like, you know, maybe they don't have a great parent system at home and they're foster kids, something, right? Like, that's different. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that shouldn't be happening. Like you're there to teach these students. Like you could be personable with them. You could be somebody easy to talk to. Fine, all that's fine because the teachers do change people's lives. Like you see all these celebrities that talk about their teachers that changed their lives. But there's ways of doing that without crossing boundaries. And there's and literally under no circumstances should somebody be touching you. Like that's weird.
And it's kind of like the same thing with the Drake Millie Bobby Brown thing. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll go out on a limb and say that I don't think that Drake is a child predator. No. I think he does a lot of weird, questionable things, and maybe that might be some of those things are bubbling to the surface, and maybe he does legitimately do some really wild stuff behind the scenes. I don't know. I would like to think that he doesn't. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's kind of a similar thing, right? Like, why are you texting her about boys?
Yeah, because like for me, 13-year-old. Yeah, like that's like you don't feel like a creep. Like I would just feel a weird feeling in my body. Like, okay, why am I talking?
How old was he? Was he in his 30s at this point?
That had to have been. He had to have been in his 30s. That was definitely. That was not that long ago. Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown thinks like what? 21 now.
Yeah, so
she was 14 at the time, so that was like six. That was like the Hunger Games. Stranger Things was like 2017 time, so that was like what 8 years ago. So he was definitely like early 30s.
Yeah, it's like
it's weird. Like that person's half your age.
Even because that's the thing, and I think that's where some people's defense of him was coming from. Was like, technically, he could be doing those things, and while it might be off-putting to us, it's still not like he did anything.
Yeah, because he was a child actor at one point, so it could have been I'm just trying to give her, just talk to her. Like, why are you talking to her about boys? Like, the conversation should be strictly mentorship. Like, if you're trying to, if you're saying I'm trying to be a mentor, I'm trying to talk to her about the industry and acting and all that stuff. Maybe like you're trying to give her good advice. Why does the conversation get to boy advice? Right. Like, that's just weird. Like she has a dad. I'm sure she has brothers. I'm sure she has cousins, uncles. Like that's not your job. Like, and you feel comfortable doing that. Like for what? How did the conversation get there?
Yeah, in your 30s, you should not be texting a kid, literally a child. About
literally, it's weird.
Relationships. And
like I feel like I wouldn't even be comfortable doing that to like someone I'm related to, like a niece or nephew. Like, can you imagine texting your niece or nephew like, "Hey, how's the boys at school?" Like, what? I would never do that to even my own family. Like, unless they, we had a face-to-face conversation, maybe they might ask, right, for advice. But just, I don't know. It's just, it's still, everybody has different relationships with their family, but
right. Because I remember I didn't want to bring it up now because I don't know if people are gonna look at me crazy for that, but I wouldn't want to talk to teenagers in my family at all.
Yeah.
Like, don't text me, don't talk to me, don't even, and I know people might think that that's weird, but if we're all like having a family gathering, I don't want to be in a room with you either.
Yeah, because it's just
alone, because I know the perception of that even, like, and I just don't want to have anything to do with anything. Like, I'll talk to you when we're surrounded by a bunch of people. Like, I'm not comfortable even being in a presence of somebody that young.
Just the dynamics
it's weird. It's the dynamics.
And because the thing is, because we all know how it was to be a teenager. I think that's the easiest thing when you could tap into your teenage brain. Like,
and I would be scared if I was a teenager. Yeah. Like, being around an adult by myself, like, it's weird.
Yeah, like whether family or not. Yeah, it's just not a comfortable dynamic unless we were like literally like immediate family.
Yeah.
But it's like,
other than that, nah.
Yeah.
Got no interest.
So it's like, for me, I just can't wrap my mind.
A teacher shouldn't have interest either.
Literally. And I get everybody was raised differently. Everybody has different social cues. Everybody has different social norms, right? Like I can understand all that. I do. And I definitely know there's people who literally have pure innocent intention. But still at the end of the day, like I said, innocent intentions or not, like those aren't your friends. Those are your students. Like, unbraid your own hair. Like that's literally labor. Yeah. People get paid to like I literally pay people to take my hair down and redo my hair like at the hair salon. That's literally labor. Like that's having them do free child labor basically. Like unbraiding and taking out braids is not like a fun process. Like it's annoying, it's nasty, it gets greasy, it's dirty. Like that's ill. Like you had these kids touching your dirty ass hair. Like that's what's like, even beyond the weirdo shit. It's just nasty and weird and inappropriate. Like
and we're gonna keep repeating these same themes, but it's just like everything about it was just
very weird. And anybody defending it is you guys are weird. Like I don't care that this man got fired. Like I really don't. Like you kind of reap what you sow.
Yeah. I
don't care that he got fired. Like you don't use my kids as content.
Yeah.
So.
Now go look for a new job. Go hit up LinkedIn and Indeed. And even then, you probably won't get another job because they're going to see exactly why you got fired.
Mm-hmm. Good luck. And the crazy part is the school year was almost over. All you had to do was get through like another month probably.
And you couldn't get through that last month without having kids touch you. Fucking creep.
Weirdos.
Anyway.